Go ahead, Saptarshi.
Okay, so we are on record. And to begin with, I'll go ahead with the antitrust policy for the Hyperledger. So Linux Foundation meetings involve participation by industry competitors, and it is the intention of the Linux Foundation to conduct all of its activities in accordance with applicable antitrust and competition laws. It is therefore extremely important that attendees adhere to meeting agendas and be aware of and not participate in any activities that are prohibited under applicable US state, federal, or foreign antitrust and competition laws. Examples of types of actions that are prohibited at Linux Foundation meetings and in connection with Linux Foundation activities described in the Linux Foundation antitrust policy, available at www.linuxfoundation.org/antitrust policy. If you have questions about these matters, please contact your company counsel, or if you are a member of the Linux Foundation, feel free to contact Andrew Abdegroove of the firm of Gasmore Abdegroove LLP, which provides legal counsel to the Linux Foundation. And now we will be beginning the discussion. And the first presenter for today is Mr. Srinivas Mahankali, who is the principal consultant for NISG, a not-for-profit doing think tank and advisory for the government of India. So Srinivas, over to you.
Yeah. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Saptarshi, for giving me this opportunity to address the Hyperledger Forum. And, I really appreciate the presence of even the co-panelists as well as a number of people from all over the world, especially a large contingent from India. A lot of people have been pinging me to find out more details about this. I was quite excited. I never knew Hyperledger Forum is so popular till today. Anyway, it's good to address you all, and let me just quickly give you a small brief about what NISG is and what we do at NISG, and then before going into how we are engaging the government and what government is doing. That is a matter of interest in today's discussion. So we at NISG, we are in the business of enterprise digital transformation. So we advise the government of India, all the departments across the central as well as state ministries as well as public sector units in e-governance. NISG started way back in 2002 when stress was started on e-governance during the time of Chandrababu Naidu in Andhra Pradesh. That is when we headquartered in Hyderabad, and we have a corporate office in Delhi because it is run by government officials from India, mostly IAS officers, have been the CEOs right from the inception. And the most prominent, it has been founded by J. Satyanarayana, who is also seen as the father of enterprise architecture in India and the e-governance in India, and we're very active in implementation of a lot of digital transformation activities across the country. So we believe in digital transformation. We closely study the various models. We have the MIT model, which talks about the operational backbone, digital platform, accountability framework, and shared customer insights, external application platform, being the 5 major elements of the digital transformation journey. Similarly, we have ThoughtWorks, which actually talks about similar things in a different order and a slightly different format. And we have we also follow Gartner, which talks about a holistic approach with a vision and strategy. And it talks about digital transformation being the involvement of everything connected, which is very important today. We have the proliferation of internet connected devices and networks. So we have, and intelligence is the order of the day with AI, ML penetrating into every element of whatever we are doing. Everything is becoming X plus AI. So that also gives us a lot of insights to the customers. So with strong focus on customers is required, and correspondingly the capabilities of the people have to be continuously evolved. So there is some problem with it. So similarly, just like how we, an individual, we have to work with all body, senses, brain, mind, heart together. We have to work together. We have to continuously keep on improving ourselves. We have to, have a common purpose, which is not only our own good but all the society good. Similarly, organization today is evolving with involvement of everything, whether it is digital, digital transformation or anything connected with environment, society, all of them have to be kept in mind, and we have to work with a single purpose in improving in improving ourselves, quality of life of the people, and improving the convenience, and becoming better self as well for the world. So NISG's canvas of operation actually, while we engage in the digital transformation of the entire government as well as public sector undertakings, so canvas of operation is all the union territories, ministries, states, and we have leading central public sector. So we are also active participant in the smart cities architecture and as well as implementation of the program. Our main 5 elements of our operation are consulting, program management, capacity building, and project management, as well as manpower augmentation. So we, our main areas are all connected with everything connected with IT and ITS, because our company is owned majority by NASCOM, which is the industry body for IT and ITS. So our domain is strictly IT and ITS solutions. And we, NASCOM was 51%, 49% is owned by Government of India, and various other state governments and other public sector bodies. So we are active participant in MIT's program of implementing India Enterprise Architecture, which talks about 8 different reference models evolving for all aspects of enterprise architecture: business reference model, performance reference model, integration reference model, security architecture, and integration, as well as application data reference, as well as data structure models, as well as technology reference models. So the idea of this is the government has all this in the leadership of K. Satyanarayana sir to ensure that there is some sort of benchmarking that is available with the availability of reference models across all aspects of digitization and digital transformation journey that everybody is undertaking today and implementing as they migrate from the legacy systems into the new world of the emerging technologies, everything acting in unison. So we need, once we have everything talking the same language, it becomes easy for integration and as well as interoperability. That is the reason why there is a lot of stress on implementing India Enterprise Architecture across all aspects of government sector units, both in state and center. And we are an active participant in this entire journey, and we assist MIT in driving this agenda. So just a sample enterprise architecture of the state, how it looks. So it's quite a complicated affair wherein we have a number of departments, functions, their own goals and visions, and so many programs running. So it is important all of them are integrated properly, and the various reference models are properly implemented, and everything is integrated. And finally, a common front is provided to the customer, so that he is not confused about all these different things, talking about different things at different times. So customer journey while consuming government services and getting all the facilities and all the benefits of whatever government is offering, it should be very much convenient. So the purpose of all these things is to integrate well and talk like a single platform as with a single face in front of the customer. So that is the purpose of this India Enterprise Architecture. NISG Bangalore is a new baby in the in the scheme of things of NISG. We started our journey in last year August when Government of India has advised NISG to start focusing on emerging technologies. So NISG Bangalore is mainly focusing on all the emerging technologies like blockchain, big data, IoT, cybersecurity, enterprise architecture, IT infrastructure, modernization, etc. So we actively participate in all the various activities of NISG, like consulting, change management, capability building, project management, program management, staff augmentation. We don't involve ourselves in actual development because development is done by all the solution providers like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, IBM, Microsoft, everyone. So we focus on providing complete architecture and starting from analysis, architecture, whether it is software architecture, or whether it is technology architecture, or whether it is data architecture, and we create this entire architecture, and then we help in creating the DPRs and RFPs for the government respective departments, and then we call for tenders, and the various solution providers then code for the tenders, and we help in selecting the tenders and also help in implementing all of them till the end and maintaining overall, while capacity building also is one of our objectives for the entire government domain. So we undertake a lot of training activities for all the government servants, starting from all the people from various departments, including the IAS officers, secretaries, etc. We, depending on their job roles, we offer them training across all these various domains. So we have actively participated in evolution of the national strategy for blockchain with MIT. So NIGD is the owner of all the government programs, whether you talk about DigiLocker or GST or anything, whatever big projects you talk about. The owner of the programs is NIGD, which is 100% owned by MIT. And we help in being like the CIO of the government. We help in these solutions. And we also help in managing the program. So we have been interested in the job of evolving national strategy for blockchain. And we have suggested that the objective of the national strategy was to facilitate integration of technology with existing economic ecosystem, to build technology architecture by taking steps to enable this creation of skilled human capital, to promote conducive policy frameworks for growth of blockchain, because there is limited understanding of blockchain in India, especially in the government and PSUs as well as CXOs of various user industries, because of too much of focus on Bitcoin, and people used to confuse the blockchain to Bitcoin, and only in the hardcore IT circles they know what is blockchain. Like Hyperledger has done a phenomenal job in getting the concept of blockchain, especially enterprise blockchain. Otherwise, most of the people used to think that blockchain means permissionless blockchains. Bitcoin and to an extent Ethereum are especially connected with tokens and dApps, etc. They are more popular. So and the government is very strict. Anybody working with government, they know that we are technology neutral. So we need to understand all the technologies. We should not focus only on Hyperledger. We will know any new platform that is coming. We need to understand it thoroughly. So that we will be able to advise the government about what is the best, for whatever problem they are trying to solve. And ultimately, we create RFPs, DPRs and RFPs, which are totally technology neutral, and everybody get an equal chance to prove themselves to be the ideal solution. So we also want to help in the policy and regulatory framework. The idea is that India has got phenomenal talent in talented manpower. So we need to harness this manpower. We need to give them opportunities. We need to give them training support. We need to also give them right policy and regulatory framework so that they're not constricted and they're free to, they're encouraged to develop themselves and become better and better and take India forward in all these technologies. And we also are interested in the job of helping the government in improving their capabilities at every level. So we have undertaken a lot of training programs. So we are the building blocks of national blockchain strategy is to encourage innovation. Like that, we don't want like regulation to come in totally in the way and control everything. It should be a facilitator, and we should be very clear. There should not be much confusion as far as laws are concerned, and it should not be something do something today, correct something tomorrow. So we take a very calibrated approach and comprehensive approach and coordinated approach rather than taking 100 steps. We'll try to take one step. That is why you find slow and steady but sure. That is how government of India operates, though it is frustrating sometimes. So we also have suggested that MIT should create a separate body for blockchain. We have worked with industry and academia, all the industry leaders and as well as academia leaders and government leaders across the government. They have participated in all our discussion. And we have recommended a strategy. This is under consideration by MIT. So once everything is done, it will be coming out. This is just to give a brief about what we have been working, knowing who is the inspiration, who's our inspiration. As far as the national blockchain platform is concerned, we are quite inspired to see the way Dubai has implemented blockchain, the way they have taken it up, taken the bull by the horns and gone full hog, and they have identified all the opportunities and problems and that can be solved, and got together industry, various silos, everybody together, and across the world and created fantastic use cases. And we can see a lot of use cases have been fully implemented, and majority of them under implementation. They've given active support to the startup industry across the world. And then we also are quite motivated by Estonia, which is considered one of the pioneers in blockchains in entire world. And they have successfully, migrated all the health records of citizens onto the blockchain. So we have created various concept nodes for government. We have created concept nodes for various ministries. We have understood what these different ministries are doing, what are the problems, what they are facing with the current processes, how blockchain is best suited for them, and then how we can, blockchain can be implemented, how we can implement POCs for them. Then, what are the problems, what are the questions that would come, how we need to, address all these things. We have created, then we have started engaging in discussions with all the ministries. Unfortunately, the COVID situation has actually put a spanner in all the works currently, and all the machinery is now focused on controlling COVID. And once the scare is over, again, we will be starting this activity. But we have, there is a lot of interest in the government to use emerging technologies. We have continuously talking to the joint secretaries and various senior officials about how to leverage these emerging technologies like AI, analytics, blockchain. We're continuously trying to form solutions. There are a lot of startups with whom we are in touch. They also know, because we continuously brainstorm with them to come up with solutions. So here is the major elements of the government blockchain platform. So we have evaluated, but we have different departments, different state governments. So everything we require to, one of the main problems that we have is, creating integration among all these departments and also with the different types of blockchain platforms and applications. So we have a lot of, because we are continuously in the journey of creating a government infrastructure as far as technology is concerned. So we are well versed with various elements, but now everything is, the idea is to put everything into, integrated whole, as well as creating solutions that are seamless as far as the end user is concerned. So we have created our own reference models by looking at whatever problems or whatever elements that are available and what are the latest developments. One of the main problems government has already recognized, you can see our ministers have openly acknowledged boldly that we are faced with all these problems, having fake certificates, fake beneficiaries, fake insurance, fake so many frauds are there. This government has been very bold in acknowledging them and then evaluating various options about how to solve them. So the technology is very actively encouraged. There's tremendous, trust on implementing advanced technologies, and now government of India decided that we should be the leader in all the emerging technologies. A lot of work is going on in this regard. Though it's been late, but definitely it will happen. So the problems identified, we continuously keep talking with governments and public sector units. So some of the topmost problems which are in the mind are zero systems linked to duplicates. This is one of the biggest problems, because you have different departments talking about the same individual with different identities and different facets of the individual's activities. How they are using their services. So you end up individuals' record being created in multiple ways. So there is no single source of truth. As far as identities are concerned, activities are concerned, data is concerned, information is concerned. So they're badly in need of siloed systems. So it is across the government, any government department you touch, they want a common view, and because it's also simplified once we have authentic records. Then you have a lot of work that is simplified, and you have accurate information, and you don't have to have so much of paperwork repeated again and again, right? So too many intermediaries and integration requirements. Government want to cut the cost and increase the speed of reaching the services. The shortcoming of infrastructure development, you have fantastic technology, but you don't have corresponding infrastructure on the ground. So that needs to be corrected. So a lot of work is also happening. Within Gatkari, he's one of the best ministers, cabinet ministers. He's working continuously, works maximum in terms of trying to improve the infrastructure of this country. We have lack of digitization in a uniform manner across every department. You will find a lot of officials who are very dynamic. For example, if you go to Telangana or Maharashtra or Rajasthan, you will find Tamil Nadu, you will find people, or Kerala, you will find people are very, very dynamic. Even Karnataka. So they're very dynamic and they're technologically very savvy. While if you go to some other places, they're very slow in terms of responding to technology. So different, a lot depends on how the respective officials are also tuned to this, entire activity of digital transformation, and how they are also exposed to the industry, and how they are being educated, and how they are taking this entire activity, to evolve. So this creates problem, because you have good benchmark, but you don't have the will and motivation from the respective department to push, in the right way for digital transformation. Too many legacy records. You'll find every government service has to be given with the retrospective effect. So anything you touch, you'll say past 10 years records also have to be taken care, because we cannot just like the start something afresh. So we have very few low-hanging fruits as far as especially new technologies like blockchain are concerned, which talk about the track record and history of transactions. So this is another big problem, because people are okay to spend forward, but they're very little cagey about spending for whatever in the past. So this is one of the biggest bottlenecks what we have. A lot of activities require manual intervention, political appointees. You'll have power-hungry people in some places who are coming in the way. They want decision. They don't want to let go of the power they have. So that creates a lot of bottleneck as far as decentralization technologies and decentralization technologies like blockchain is concerned, or even for that matter, normal digital transformation itself. Recent investment digitalization, because government has been spending heavily in the transformation and implementing enterprise architecture. So this also creates a lot of problem. So we have different, these are the main problems which we have identified. Some of the problems which are deemed to solve, we feel we can solve this fake product, fake words, fake certificates, all these various fake benefits which we identified. These are the things which can definitely be solved. Blockchain can offer a single source of truth, reduction of costs, eliminate problems, eliminate identity asset ownership risks, prevent data breaches, identity payment, record keeping, asset ownership, and transfers, disintermediation, and security and privacy. These are the main problems that are being sought to be solved by the various government departments as per our interaction. So this is what I think this is the standard across the world, and it's no different. That also shows that Indian decision makers are getting well tuned to the usage of blockchain and what are problems it can solve. A lot of improvement has taken place in the past 6-7 months since we started. Then we have a number of implementations that are already there, like the platform. All of you are aware, because I'm not going to deep into this because most of these solutions have been well discussed in the previous Hyperledger meetings which I've seen. Income tax department has implemented blockchain along with Infosys. They've created a pilot for all the banks to create a common view of the information about the tax paid or TDS deducted or income of the loan applicants, so that they will be able to take correct decision to eliminate any falsification of information. So this is already by pilot has been done, and the income tax department and the various banks, so they also want to extend the services and go in a big way in the future. So this is a successful pilot, and that unsolicited commercial communication tomorrow, I think Rajesh will be speaking about it. So this is a effort by TRA has passed a rule. It's called the Telecom Commercial Communication Customer Preference Regulation Guidelines. But in 2018, they have advised to use the distributed ledger technology to solve the problem, to get the customer preferences. They don't. Anybody tries to do that, so there'll be a lot of people who will be penalized for that. So this is the implement, and we are also looking at seeing how Aadhaar and all the identity can be upgraded with various security features that blockchain can offer. Then we also land records implementation is very much in the cards. Most of the states have started talking about it. We are engaging with a lot of people creating PPRs and RFPs and training programs. It is one of the best use cases. You find whatever you want in a blockchain related problem. You will find that the problems are there, and 60% of the court cases in India are thanks to the disputes on because of wrong ownerships related disputes, lack of proper records, etc. So that's where blockchain here. This is a architecture that has been created already. APCRDA, AP Capital Region Development Authority, in the previous government, they have, with the help of JB, they have created a pilot on this, and they have they digitized a lot of rank records and proved the concept. But currently, it is still in abeyance. But the concept has been proved and pilot has been executed. In future, perhaps it will be taken into a larger scale. And we have direct benefit transfers. India is, we have a Ministry of Rural Development which offers different schemes. So there are a lot of problems in duplicated, identities, leading to a lot of leakages, and then other people wrongly authorizing expenditure, etc. And multiple layers in the middle who are supposed to give approvals or through whom the money should pass to the reached beneficiary. So this is one thing which we have tried. We are working with Ministry of Rural Development to see how because more than 130,000 crores are being disbursed by Ministry of Rural Development through various schemes. And even if you are able to save 20% of that, then you will be a huge sum. Then we are working with Department of Post to implement POD tracking on a distributed ledger. And then we are talking about e-governance, know your supplier, so I don't have to anything in the past. There was a presentation on KYS platform. So this is very much in line with whatever we discussed in that. So all the problems we have discussed with R3, and R3 has helped in creating a comprehensive platform to solve the problem of various problems that we face while procuring. It involves both procurement management, finance, budget, and project management. But when we create a DPR and RFP, the understanding is that we will not be talking about any specific platform, though they helped us in evolving the solution. But the solution, the entire architecture, entire documentation will be agnostic of any platform. So everybody, whether it is Ethereum, Quorum, Hyperledger Fabric, everybody will get an equal chance to pitch their solutions for that. We also work, Kerala has experimented with implementing police verification on a blockchain. But that went into a little bit of a problem because of court cases. As we discussed some time back, there's a lot of problem in various people thinking too much about transparency. So they're afraid of records being public. They're not aware of the privacy related security that blockchain offers. So these sort of misgivings and their own apprehensions lead to a lot of court cases. Even we are seeing that even the UCCC solution by TRA also is likely to get into some sort of legal issues. So that is an unfortunate democratic approach. So that is where it will take a lot of time to implement revolutionary technologies like blockchain, while there is a lot of intent in the entire political establishment. So we have certification. Super Cert is a project that is undertaken by Niti Aayog for offering university certificate for blockchain. This is a solution offered by Somish in a global smart city to have a speedy information flow, especially in times of accident, so that the patient is quickly taken and his life will be saved with speedy action by the hospital. This is already implemented. The POC and pilot has been executed by global smart city. So once these are successful, one possibility is that all the smart cities will later then try to implement such sort of things. So the blockchain-based energy trading platform, this is TERI as well as UP government have been working on P2P energy pilots. And we have Maharashtra government is working on loan against warehouse for farmers, so that when they have the produce, they can quickly are able to get a loan against the warehouse receipts in a quick manner. So a lot of, because this is one area where a lot of frauds happen, a lot of intermediaries happen. Finally, you'll have a lot of farmers committing suicide because they're not getting money in the right time. So these people have done extremely well. The pilot has been successful, and more than 1,250 farmers are already, warehouses are already connected on this platform. And this Maharashtra government is planning to scale it up so that more banks and more warehouses, more partners, more farmers, and more people can be covered with this. Then we have the AgriTrack, which is a NABARD in Tamil Nadu. They are implementing a traceability platform for the farming, for farmers, and, along with a company called Intellytics, which is based in Chennai. So they already conducted the POC, and they're trying to see how they can expand the solution and get more FOS onto the POs or the platform. Then Niti Aayog has done a lot of pilots. They have worked a pilot with one fertilizer subsidy distribution. This is well documented in the National Blockchain Strategy white paper, which is provided by Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog being the think tank, it is very important that they are convinced about the applicability of these emerging technologies, and they're well convinced. All the POCs that they have conducted have been very successful, and they have proved that there is a huge business case for blockchain to be implemented, and it can vastly improve governance function and efficiency. So the superset, which has been implemented by a number of state governments have been pioneering blockchain solutions. In the past 2-3 years, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Telangana, they have implemented number of blockchain solutions. Number of blockchain solutions are already pilots, etc., are underway. The other day there was an article in Times of India about 1 week back, which well documents actually the various state of blockchain in India today. They're talking about need for the proper regulatory support as well as approval and the data that is and transactions that are stored on the blockchain, so that permission blockchain is authorized well, and the data and the entire ecosystem is recognized and regulated, then and facilitated well. Then that's what it can give a fillip to the entire blockchain industry. So, but the second thing is they're also talking about need for complete understanding as well as education of this, the entire decision makers, both in the industry as well as government and academia, to work together and in a cohesion to work with all to solve all the practical problems and to take India forward. And then Telangana government has done phenomenal job. They are one of the best in terms of implementing emerging technologies. All the state governments have to take. In fact, India has to take cognizance of this and to take them as an example. They have shortlisted 30 startups and they are giving them full support in a very collaborative environment, so that they will be able to come out with solutions, practical solutions, and then most of these people, these companies, with the help of sort of Telangana government is doing, could potentially be $1 billion forward in blockchain. You can imagine the sort of problems we are facing today because of lack of regulatory support and inactivity in this because of COVID and other things. But still, the Telangana government is giving them super support. These are all selected from all over the country. They're not just belonging to only one state or anything. So that is the excellent job which they have done. And we require what we require, to hasten blockchain adoption. Is the last way we have increasing exposure to global adoption. So we need to have proper understanding of the use cases. So the blockchain is a relatively new field, only 2 to 3 years old. So we don't know exactly. A lot of people have not seen production use cases. Okay, there are a lot of big production use cases in terms of consortiums, etc. But especially in the government, apart from the few governments, we have not seen really big use cases. So people feel it is just a buzzword. Unfortunately, 90% of the government staff and public sector people think still it is a buzzword, but they are quite excited about it because they know their children are there. Everybody is talking about blockchain and analytics. So they know it's going to take off in the future, but they don't know how. So that is where we require a lot of awareness to be done, education to be done. So low-hanging fruits that we have to set bigger adoption. We require focus on blockchain applications that require legacy migrations should be kept to minimum. So then that will help in faster adoption, because of whatever little money today what they have, they can focus on improving the current status and also working for the future productivity and efficiency.
Thanks, Srinivas.
These are the steps which I feel will definitely help a long way. We want proper, a lot of support. Even NISG requires. We are well integrated with leaders like Infosys, Wipro, Tech Mahindra. They are very much cooperative. They always want to come and help us, and we discuss continuously with them about various options. But we want more startups and to come to us with whatever solutions which they have, which we can help in solving the problems of governments and PSUs, and we can help them in taking forward and then showcasing these POCs and pilots, and then that is how the adoption will grow. So that is a support even NISG, because we cannot operate in isolation. Blockchain is a is a teamwork. as a community has to develop, ecosystem has to develop. So we all have to work together.
Appreciate, Srinivas. Thanks for a very detailed update on individual states of India and the country as a whole, sharing the pain points and the momentum in blockchain in India. I think people all over the world, many people were interested what's exactly going on blockchain in India specifically, because a lot of software developers come out of India from the companies you mentioned. So we have one question for you that was from Hannah, and she wanted to know, let's say there is a knowledge gap between the public sector and the emerging technologies that are coming, let's say for blockchain. So how do you plan to overcome that knowledge gap?
Yeah, so NISG is also interested with conducting a lot of training programs. So NIGD is the unit of the government under MIT, which is the owner of all the government's technology programs and also in charge of skill building. So they engage us as they are our client. So they engage us to help them in. So we have been taking active part in conducting a lot of capability building and knowledge management workshops across the government. But in future, this could be much more widespread with a lot more participation from private sector organizations like Infosys and Wipro, etc., who have well-developed training programs. So we also have been talking to them to see how we can collaborate with them and speed up and also provide state-of-the-art training program for all the government departments as well as across all the states. But in future, they will also be able to participate directly with the government as the requirement grows. So this is a continuous activity, and so a lot of work is going on. So I mean, it's like we're still at the bottom of the mountain, but the amount of work that is there in front of us is huge and enormous.
Thanks.
Organizations like Infosys, Wipro, which have developed phenomenal training programs which can be developed both asynchronously and synchronously. So that will help in through the online also we have to spread this education in a fast way.
Appreciate much, Srinivas, and I guess people would love to go through the recording, and in case they have any questions, they have your mail ID at the bottom of the slide, and they can also connect with you via LinkedIn. And now,
thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks, much appreciated. And we would like to move to our next presenter, Elisa Cardamone from Sao Paulo, Brazil, to go ahead with the sustainability initiatives of blockchain in Brazil. Elisa, over to you.
Hello guys, I'm trying to share my screen here, just a second.
You just need to click on the share screen button and I hope they should work.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. Okay, now it's working. Great. So I try to hurry a little bit in order for us to finish on time. So do you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So I'm talking a little bit about the blockchain market in Brazil and also about some sustainability projects, especially Blockforce sustainability projects. So starting with the market overview. So as you can see here, blockchain in Latin America is still in its early stages, but the growth rate is basically the same comparing to the other regions. So we don't have a huge amount of revenue, but we are still growing. Especially in Brazil, the market is growing really fast. So according to a Deloitte research from this year, 2020, 94% of Brazilians agree that digital asset will be an alternative or even a replacement to fiat currencies in the next 5 to 10 years. And also you can see here that the Brazil's revenue, it's really similar to the global average, which means that there are a lot of things going on in this market. So here I brought some initiatives on the public sector in Brazil, as we are a public meeting here. Um, Most of them are on the financial sector, but you also have some on notary service, agriculture, and food industry, and also research. But once they are not very mature, I just brought the financial ones. So the first one, as you can see here, is about FEBRABAN, which is the Brazilian Federation of Banks. They just announced the creation of the first blockchain network in the Brazilian financial system. And it is a collaborative project with the participation of large banks such as JP Morgan, Itaú, Santander, which is the biggest bank of Brazil. And the main idea is to enable sharing information between the partners, which is something really nice. The second initiative that I brought here is actually a news. I'm sorry, it's written in Portuguese, but I made the translation here. So as you can see, the use and creation of digital currency in Brazil is growing exponentially. So every year you have like a huge amount. And Brazil actually is the fourth largest cryptocurrency market in the whole world. But there are that's still a lot debates related to the regulation and stuff like this. So we are not very consolidated in this case. And the third initiative that I brought here is about BNDES token. I don't know if you know, but BNDES is the National Development Bank that financials initiative on the public sector in Brazil. And the main goal of this initiative is to track the application of public resources in credit operation. So that means to provide society a greater transparency and also enable efficiency in the cash flow. So those are the main financial initiatives that I brought in Brazil. And now I'm talking a little bit more about Blockforce. So we are a Brazilian blockchain startup that focus on sustainable projects. So that's why we are talking about sustainability here also. So this is our vision about blockchain. So we really believe in the power of blockchain to create new collaborative realities of trust as a key to accelerate the exponential positive transformation. So this is the way we do it. So how we promote relevant social impact through the use of blockchain solutions. So we have like a human and conscious view. We carry about the whole solution and its context, and we also have a technical and strategic excellence. And with this, we actually co-create with our clients. So our clients is actually our partners also, in order to provide scale transformation. So that's a little bit about our value propositions. And here is a little bit about our service. I'm not going through this once we don't have a lot of time. But now I brought you two cases talking about sustainability. So the first one is called Organis, and we made it in partnership with the Brazilian Council for Organic and Sustainable Production. So I don't know if you know, but the organic product market in Brazil is still very informal, and the producers, they don't have the chance to actually sell their projects to the market. And the big supermarkets, they do like explorations on the small producers, which is really bad. And our main challenge here was to improve the visibility of those producers, and actually to empower them in order to have a more consolidated job and life. So we made a solution designed by Hyperledger Fabric, and it's the first official platform to consolidate all the data that we need in this market. So we have the producers track, we have all their contacts, the way they sell their products. So it's like a marketplace in order to facilitate the access to the market. And the second case that I brought here is about Rio Doce. I don't know if you know, but the Rio Doce, which is called Barragem do Fundão, is the biggest environmental disaster in Brazil. It was a dam rupture that causes a lot of damage. So people were killed, a lot of people lost their homes. The basin of Rio Doce was contaminated, so it was a huge mess, and it still is. So our main challenge here is to estimate and calculate the damage caused by this big disaster. So what we made, actually using also Hyperledger Fabric records, was a tool that facilitates the collection of data in a safe and immutable way. And we also allowed everything to be tracked in order to help the public sector and also the academic sector to improve the damage causes with this disaster. So this is, I was a little bit fast in order for us to finish on time, but this is what I wanted to brought you. So some overview about the blockchain market in Brazil and also some use cases related to sustainability. So if you have any doubts or if you want to chat more, I will add my email here on the chat. And it would be a pleasure to talk more about it with you guys.
Thanks, Elisa. I guess we have 15 more minutes to go, so we can open up for questions and discussions. Any questions from anyone?
Sure. Yeah, I think we're fine.
Okay, so I have one question for you, Elisa. While you mentioned that you are engaged into multiple initiatives again through Blockforce, so how do you see, the specific sustainability? Is it like something that is a uniform throughout Brazil, or is it like varies from state to state? Just like our previous presenter Srinivas has shown, that the adoption of emerging technologies is non-uniform from state by state. So, I mean, within the country itself. So how do you perceive the same in Brazil?
Yeah, so here in Brazil is actually not uniform. So we have a huge concentration of this kind of projects in the main capitals, which are São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Manaus. But actually, when we talk about blockchain, Blockforce is the first company in Brazil to make projects related to sustainability. So it's a market that it's not consolidated here in Brazil. So people are not looking at it. So they are still getting to know what blockchain can do to improve sustainability.
Okay, and do you engage in any kind of benchmarking on the sustainability?
In Brazil, we don't have, but across the global, across the other countries, we do have some companies, but they don't have like this broad application. Actually, we have some blockchain companies that act on the financial sector or only on the environmental sector. So we still don't have this kind of overview company.
Okay, and we have got one question from Hannah, and
Great.
she wanted to learn about the Organis project and how did you set it up and how it turned out?
Sure. So just to have like an overview, we made the organics project in partnership with the Brazilian Council for Organic and Sustainable Production. We are still doing it, so it's not finished yet. But Organis is actually the first official platform for those who produce organic projects in Brazil, in compliance with the law about this sector. And the platform mission is to gather all information available of local organic producers, as well as their respective certification levels, offering to the market a reliable database for reference, contact, and also commercializations. So the solution was, what Blockforce made was to, it involves like a project discover workshop, a blockchain value design, a blockchain technical architecture, and we use the Hyperledger fabric in order to make the traceability network. And we also created a web platform. The design of the web platform is not ready yet, but as soon as it gets ready, I'll send you, Hannah. So please leave your email here, and then I'll share with you. And what we see as the main results of this use case is that we have the organic producers to empower, to have a more visibility on the market.
Thanks, appreciate. And I guess since we have 10 more minutes, I would like to let you guys, many of you are joining for the first time. So I think I can go through the Hyperledger wiki overview so that you can subscribe to the mailing list and you can check, what are the different projects and other kind of updates. So what do you think, Anna?
I think it's a brilliant idea. I've been trying to follow my own rules, but I type so slowly. So
okay, no worries.
But yeah, I think it's a great idea to give an introduction of how people can get involved, and also where they can find your new blog, because I asked you to send that out, but you didn't, and I think everyone should see it.
Okay, so it should be on a separate website. So we have a couple of websites in the Hyperledger. One is the hyperledger.org. Okay. So if you go to the Hyperledger.org, you will be able to find about all the information from a Hyperledger perspective and other stuffs. So, there are the different news and blog. I guess in the news and events blog, you should be able to find. So this is the one which I guess, Hannah, you are referring, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And also where they can find the other recordings from the
yes. So this is different.
This
is so the hyperledger.org is all about the Hyperledger website, and that is exclusively maintained by the Hyperledger team, I guess. Okay. So I'll get in touch with them to get more updates. Hyperledger is part of the Linux Foundation, and it's one of the many projects that the Linux Foundation hosts. There are lot many within the Linux Foundation that you can navigate through the website itself. And the wiki.hyperledger.org is basically where people like you, me, or anybody who can log in here and can start contributing through the Confluence page. Like say, I'm going to add something, okay? Just to show you guys. For subscribing, you don't need a login ID or kind of stuff getting updated. But in case you would like to contribute, add some, information that is open to all for the people to access and get some updates. I assume there is some challenges. Okay. So if I'm going to upload the stuffs, the meeting recordings is here. Once you go to the public sector SIG, within the public sector SIG, you will find all the meeting recordings. Let's say the last one was by William Lovell from Bank of England on central bank digital currencies, and John Jordan from British Columbia, or Nadia from World Economic Forum, or Drummond Reed. So all these different events that has happened are stored here. You can go and view all these different presentations. And for the meeting agendas, if you would like to add anything in addition to what we have added, is here you can find. Okay, So you can navigate that, and you can add your information in the group contact information here. Okay. And this is one that I just created initially, and I guess we have to update it. It's all about the blockchain initiatives going on globally in public sector. And for subscribing, you just need to be in the public sector SIG, and you will see here the link to join the biweekly meeting on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And if you would like to join via phone, that's also okay. You can join it. And Jim has a great presentation here in the
I was just going to say, thank you for showing out Jim's video. I didn't want anyone new to miss that.
Yes, so that was an amazing one. Anybody who has any challenges, just go to the wiki.hyperledger.org, the specific website link, and you just listen to what Jim has to say, and you will get all the details. You can subscribe to the mailing list here by clicking it. And all the previous presentations and decks, basically these are the decks, not the recordings that are stored here. You can view all those different stuffs from different agencies globally. And still, if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to Hannah or me, and I hope we should be able to help you out with some interesting updates. So I guess we're still on time. Any further questions?
I was just going to say also, if there are any updates that somebody wants to share, we're having so much fun in these presentations now. So we don't usually have time, but we do now. So questions or comments or updates, we'd be happy to hear.
Hi, everybody. It's Bobby. I just want to say you guys are doing a great job. You always have the most interesting presentations. And I'm glad it's on Friday because it's a great way to start the weekend.
Yeah, we have two presenters today from two different continents, and I assume the next presentation is going to be on July 3rd, and it's again going to be by two interesting ladies. We are planning to go ahead with women in blockchain from the public sector, and that's going to be fun. A lot of interesting events to learn from that. So we'll keep you guys posted. We'll share via the mailing list. So stay tuned, and unless anybody has any questions, we can wrap up the meeting today. 3 minutes ahead.
I was just going to say thank you, Bobby, for keeping us organized and for always having our back and helping out. So
yes.
For those of you who are new, Bobby is not the man, but the woman. Who keeps us all organized. And there's a great video with Saptashi and Bobby from
at Phoenix.
In Phoenix, global. Yeah.
Yes. And also I'm going to plug my working group, which is the Learning Materials Working Group.
Yes.
If you want any learning documentation, you can go to the working group, Learning Materials Development, and we have a resource library that has a lot of information for the community.
So Bobby, maybe you can share your mail ID so that anybody who's interested about the contents or learning materials about blockchain might get in touch with you because many of the participants today are joining for the first time. So if you may share in the chat box, that shall be great.
Done.
Okay.
And
excellent.
also I put a link in the chat to your blog specific post for everyone. Since you're too modest to do it yourself.
I know, right? I know.
Anyway, so have a nice weekend, everybody.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys. It was a really nice opportunity.
Pleasure connecting with both Elisa and Srinivas. I mean, it was amazing presentations, and we look forward to, having further discussions with you down the lane, and looking forward to many of you join our next bi-weekly meeting on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time via Zoom with two interesting participants, which is basically focused on women in blockchain in public sector, the theme. And have a great weekend.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.